Okay, this is just a really quick solving equation review because some of us are having problems solving equations. The whole point of solving an equation is to try to get the variable or whatever letter they're using, usually x, alone on one side of the equal sign. So, for example, 3 plus 4 um, is easy, right? That means that we just add 3 and 4, which would be 7 equals x, meaning that anytime you see the letter x, it's going to mean the letter 7. So if we do 3 plus x, we know that this x actually means 7. And so we know that 3 plus 7 equals 10. Does that make sense? I hope it does. The whole point in solving equations
Alert from
is to...
Your disk is on.
We're ignoring that. Is to make sure that the x is all alone on one side of the equation and that there are no letters over here, just numbers because they're like terms. We're trying to keep all like terms on their own side. So if we go over here and we see x minus 15, for example, or x minus 5 equals 15, we have to get this x alone on this side of the equal sign. So we've got to get rid of this negative 5. How do we get rid of that negative 5? Well, we have to do the opposite. So anytime we're trying to get rid of something on one side, what we would do is whatever we do on this side, we have to do it on this side. So if we add plus 5 onto this side, we have to add plus 5 to this side. If we were going to subtract x from this side, we'd have to subtract x from this side. Whatever we do on one side of the equal sign, we have to do it to the other side. So for example, on this one, the easiest thing to do is because these are two like terms, and this will leave the x alone once we get rid of that 5. We're going to get rid of that 5. In order to make that 5 go away, negative 5, we have to add 5 to it, because negative 5 plus 5 cancels each other out, makes it 0. So now this is just x all by itself. And now we have to add 5 to this side because we have to do it. We have to make sure that whatever we do on one side of the equal sign, we do onto the other. So 15 plus 5 equals 20. And so now we know that x altogether equals 20. And let's see if that makes sense. So let's get rid of this and let's write 20 in the place of our x minus 5. Well, what does that equal? 20 minus 5 equals 15. So we were right. And that's how you would check it if you needed to check it. Over here, it gets a little bit more difficult because now we're adding 3x. When a number and a variable are next to each other, it means that they're being multiplied together. So let's try to get the numbers that don't have letters with them on one side of the equation. So in order to do that, let's get rid of this 12 on both sides. Remember, we've got the equation. Some people do like a dotted line to do the equal sign, and that's fine if you want to do that. I'll do it for this one. And so this one crosses each other out. 6 minus 12 equals negative 6. If you're not that great at automatic calculation, use a calculator. I have to all the time. So now we still have to get this x alone. And the only way to get this x alone, because if a letter and a number are together, it means to be multiplied, is now we have to divide both sides by 3, because that's the only way. 3 divided by 3 crosses each other out, and it means it just has one x left. Then we have to divide this by 3. So what's negative 6 divided by 3 is negative 2. Let's see if it works. So 3 times negative 2 plus 12, would that equal 6? Well, whoops, would that equal 6? Let's check it out. And this is a big number. So 3 times negative 2 is negative 6 plus 12. So what is 12? Or it's negative 6 plus 12. Or if you turned it around and did 12 minus 6, it would equal 6. So we are correct. this seems to work because we have the same answer right here and here. So we are correct that x equals -2. All right, we're going to do another one right here, just like this. Again, let's try to do our like terms, so something that doesn't have the variable attached, and try to get it to the other side of where the equal sign is. And this has a 3, so we're going to try to move the one without the letter over to the other side. So let's subtract 6 from both sides. And 3 minus 6 is -3. Put our equal sign back there, and then we have -4x. Now we have to get the x alone again to leave it on that side. So we have to divide both sides by -4, which crosses that out. And -3 divided by -4. The only difference is you're not going to be able to make it without a huge decimal. So we're going to keep it a fraction. However, if there's 2 decimal signs, it actually only makes it, because a negative times a negative equals a positive. So it's actually a positive 3/4. And that is the answer for that one. Let's see if that would work. And this is when you would actually use a calculator, but you don't have to. We can do it the old-fashioned way. So we're going to go ahead and write it in our little letters. 6 minus 4 times, and then we've got 3/4 equals 3. Now, if we do PEMDAS, we know that we have to do our multiplication first. So we're going to have to do this first. So let's do -4, and we'll make it a fraction by putting a 1 next or underneath it. And then we're going to multiply it by 3/4. And then the cool thing about multiplying fractions is you just multiply straight across. So -4 times 3 is 12, -12. And 4 times 1 is 4. And so -12 divided by 4 equals -3. Let's see if that works. So we do 6 now. We found -3 in this little square part equals 3. 6. We're not multiplying anymore. 6 minus 3 equals 3. That is correct. All right. 3 and 3. So we know that x equals 3/4. All right. Hopefully you got that. That's just a little reminder of how to solve equations. So again, remember that our whole point is to get x alone on one side, and then to get this a number on the other side. And that is solving equations. If you have any questions, go back to unit, and I will show you in Schoology. Oh, and I don't have Schoology right here. If you go to Schoology and you look up our class in Algebra 1, this is .com. It is in unit either 0 or pre-unit. And then we have a whole bunch of practice worksheets. We've got some notes. Try to practice. Even if you were to Google practice worksheets on solving equations for algebra, one variable equations for algebra, practice as much as you can, because you're going to use this in algebra, geometry, intermediate algebra, algebra 2. You need to know to do this in order to get through high school math. If you have any questions or you want some extra help or tutoring on this, just let me or any of the math teachers at Shawn Mission North help you, and we would be happy to. Thanks a lot.